Ever catch yourself listening to a song and thinking, man, those lyrics are amazing. I wish I could write like that.
Yeah, you know that feeling you get when the words just hit you right in the feels.
Exactly. Well, on that note, today we're taking a deep dive into the world of the people who craft those words, the lyricists. And to help us decode this world, we're turning to RoleCatcher. They've got this really cool website all about, like, navigating different career
Oh
paths.
yeah, I've seen that site. They have a ton of
Right.
resources.
And they've got this awesome career guide specifically for aspiring lyricists. So we're going to be checking that out today, see what we can learn.
Sounds like a plan. I'm ready to get lyrical.
Okay, so first things first. What does a lyricist actually do?
Well, the simplest way to put it is, they're the storytellers behind the song.
Okay, so they're weaving narratives through music. But how does that actually work in practice?
Mm-hmm.
This role catcher guide, they say the core of the job is to interpret the style of the music and write words that complement the melody.
Which, honestly, is a lot harder than it sounds. It's way more than just rhyming words a good lyricist. They really become a student of the music.
Ooh, I like that, a student of the music, because you really have to understand the nuances, right?
Absolutely. The rhythm, the tempo, the emotion it evokes, all that plays into how the lyrics are shaped.
So it's this puzzle, finding the perfect words to fit the mood and the music.
100%. It's this creative puzzle where you're playing with language, trying to find that perfect hook or turn of phrase that elevates the entire song.
And speaking of language, one thing RoleCatcher really emphasized was the distinction between a lyricist and a songwriter. I'll admit I kind of used those terms interchangeably before.
Oh, for sure. It's a common mix-up. And to be fair, the roles can definitely overlap.
So break it down for us. What's the key difference?
Well, a songwriter, they might be involved in every step of a song's creation, composing the music, writing the lyrics, even performing it. Lyricists, though, they're all about the words.
So if a songwriter is like the head chef, the lyricist is more like a master spice blender, adding layers and depth.
That's a great analogy, both essential to the final product, just with different focuses.
And just like chefs and spice masters have their kitchens, RoleCatcher talks about how a lyricist's work environment can vary.
Yeah, it's not always glamorous. Could be a studio, could be a home office, wherever the creative juices flow, I guess.
And that probably comes with its own set of challenges, right?
Yes.
Late nights, creative blocks, dealing with all sorts of personality.
Oh, for sure. And we haven't even gotten into the unpredictable nature of the music industry itself.
All right, so we're starting to see that being a lyricist is more than just a way with words. It takes resilience, collaboration, a whole lot of hustle.
Definitely. But when it all comes together, magic. Pure magic.
Okay, so we're really starting to see that there's a lot more to being a lyricist than just like rhyming words and having a way with language.
Yeah, it's a whole different ball game when you're talking about turning this passion into an actual career.
Totally. And RoleCatcher gets into some of those practical skills in their guide. And I gotta say, some of them surprised me.
Oh, yeah. Like what?
Well, they highlight things like coordination, critical thinking, active listening. Like, those aren't exactly the first things that come to mind when I think songwriter.
It's funny, right? But when you really think about it, it makes total sense.
Explain it to me.
Okay, so coordination, right? That's huge when you're working with a composer. You got to make sure your lyrics flow with the music, match the rhythm and the feel.
Right. Otherwise, it's just like talking over music.
Exactly. I actually worked with a lyricist a while back, crazy talented, but his timing was just off.
Oh, no.
Yeah, it was like the words and the music were from two different planets, just totally clashed. And the whole song fell apart because of it.
Wow. So even with amazing lyrics, if the coordination isn't there, it's not going to work.
Not a chance. And that's where the critical thinking comes in, too, because a good lyricist isn't just thinking about pretty words. They're thinking about the song's message, who it's for, how it's going to make people feel.
It's like they've got to be strategists almost, playing out every word, every rhyme.
100%. It's about making conscious choices with your words, because each one has weight, you know.
Totally. And then there's that whole active listening thing.
Ah, yes, active listening. That's crucial in any creative field, but especially music, because you're constantly collaborating, bouncing ideas off each other.
It makes me think of those, like, legendary songwriting duos.
Oh, absolutely. Like when you
Like
can
me.
just tell that the composer and lyricist are so in sync, it's like they can read each other's minds.
Right. And that only comes from, like, years of working together, truly listening to each other.
Years of trust, of understanding each other's creative language, knowing when to push and when to pull back. It's a beautiful thing.
It really is. So, speaking of the music industry, RoleCatcher also maps out different stages of a lyricist's career path, which I found super helpful.
Oh, yeah. What'd they have to say?
Well, they don't sugarcoat it. They basically say straight up, like, this isn't an overnight success kind of career.
And they're not wrong about that. It takes dedication, resilience.
Yeah, like a marathon, not a sprint.
Yeah.
And you've got to be in it for the long haul.
100%. But the journey is where you really grow, you know?
Totally. They actually break down typical responsibilities at each stage, from entry level all the way to, like, becoming a seasoned pro.
It's good to have those benchmarks, right?
Yeah.
Something to aim for.
Right. Like, I had no idea that even as an entry-level lyricist, you might be asked to contribute to brainstorming sessions or give feedback on other people's lyrics.
Oh, yeah. It's all part of the learning process. You're there to soak it all up, prove yourself as a valuable member of the team.
And then as you gain experience, you might find yourself doing things like negotiating contracts, maybe even mentoring other lyricists.
Which is such a rewarding aspect of the job, getting to nurture new talent.
Totally.
Hmm?
And then, of course, there's the ultimate goal for many, leading the entire creative process for a song.
And that's a career highlight right there. When you get to see your vision come to life, it's an amazing feeling.
And it's where all those skills we talked about, coordination, critical thinking, active listening, they all become essential, right?
Absolutely. You're not just a wordsmith anymore. You're a leader, a visionary, guiding the entire ship.
Speaking of visionary, let's talk about how technology is changing the game for lyricists. Because RoleCatcher had this whole section on AI-powered tools. And I got to be honest, I was a little freaked out at first.
AI, huh? Yeah, it's definitely a hot topic these days, especially in creative fields.
Like, are robots going to start writing all the hit songs now, or what?
It's a valid concern, but before we spiral into a dystopian future where algorithms replace human creativity, let's take a breath and break down what these tools actually do.
So RoleCatcher breaks down these AI tools, and they sound seriously impressive. Like, they can analyze job descriptions, figure out the skills you need, even suggest ways to make your resume or portfolio stand out to industry people. It's almost like having a cheat code for the music biz, you know? Yeah.
I wouldn't go that far. I mean, it's not magic, but yeah, these tools can be super helpful, especially for someone just starting out, trying to get their foot in the door.
Right, because not everyone has those connections or knows the ins and outs of the industry.
Exactly. And these tools can kind of level the playing field a bit, give everyone a fighting chance.
Okay, so it's less about AI replacing human talent and more about giving artists the tools to, like, navigate the business side of things more effectively.
100%. It's about working smarter, not harder, so you can focus on what really matters, the music.
Which brings me to my next question. What about AI and the creative process itself? Could we get to a point where algorithms are writing hit songs without any human input?
Ah, the million-dollar question. And honestly, nobody really knows for sure. It's a topic that sparks a lot of debate in the industry, to say the least.
I bet. What are some of the arguments you've heard?
Well, on one hand, you've got folks who believe that AI will never truly replicate human emotion, that special something that makes a song really resonate with people.
Because at the end of the day, music is all about feelings, right?
Exactly. And then on the other hand, you have those who see AI as a potential tool for creativity, like a way to break through writer's block or explore new sounds and styles.
But like, remember how some writers freaked out when word processors first came out? They thought it would kill their creativity, but look at us now.
Exactly. Technology is always evolving, and artists always find a way to adapt and innovate.
So maybe instead of fearing AI, we should be embracing the possibilities, right?
100%. Approach it with curiosity, experiment, and who knows, maybe AI will help us unlock a whole new era of music. That would be pretty amazing.
Now that's a future I can get behind. Well, after this deep dive into the world of lyricists, I'm feeling incredibly inspired by their artistry and dedication. It's truly amazing how they can take something as universal as language and create such powerful stories through music.
Couldn't agree more. It's a true gift.
So to all you aspiring lyricists out there, keep writing, keep experimenting, keep chasing those musical dreams. And if you need a little guidance along the way, definitely check out RoleCatcher's website. They've got a gold mine of information. Until next time, keep those creative sparks flying.